os clubes, instituições, entidades.
Every club, organization, charities, all of these groups have files pertaining to the history of the Arab immigration. What we intend to do is to collect all of this information and store it in a common database, which will be open for research. This is important because we want this information to be accessible to anyone who's interested. Researchers, students, anyone really. The Arab-Brazilian Chamber of Commerce, because it's an organization that, we can say, belongs to no particular country because it represents so many different nations and has no determined religion, it's on a higher ground. So the idea is that we can gather all of these documents and present them as a common database of Arab immigration, particularly as our starting point the Syrian-Lebanese immigration, and eventually we plan on expanding it. We also welcome input from outside the state of São Paulo. We consider this project as a preservation of documents through digitalization, and so it's open for entries outside of the state of São Paulo. There's so much missing information out there, and before these documents and stories are lost forever, it's important that we collect them and store them in this database.
Num banco de dados comum.
Je suis le président de l'Université Saint-Esprit de Kaslik au Liban.
I was the president of a Jesuit university in Kaslik in Lebanon, one of the oldest in the country, and perhaps one of the oldest in the world. This project was planned as a mutual collaboration between us in order to preserve Syrian and Lebanese heritage. I have offered my most sincere thanks to the president of the Arab-Brazilian Chamber, Mr. Hobeika, and to the vice president, Dr. Hiad Yunus, as well as all of our friends here. I am grateful for the invitation. Just like Dr. Yunus, I am also an immigrant from Lebanon, and the aim of this project is to safeguard and serve the heritage of Lebanese and Syrian immigrants. Because, as you know, our ancestors and parents came to this welcoming and generous land almost 2 centuries ago. We were able to find refuge in this great country that is Brazil. For thousands of people from Syria and Lebanon, leaving their countries as a result of the wars was a very tragic event. They traveled to Brazil in search of freedom and a decent life, where they found refuge, and where they still keep records and documents and the history of that painful journey in their homes today. So how do we revive or rebuild that history? We are very keen on doing this in order to preserve and keep memories. As you know, we cannot have success in the present or in the future if we do not have specific knowledge of the past, because the present is nothing more than a point between the past and the future. We are interested in this collection of documents, especially because our university funded an ultra-modern library in Argentina. This means we can begin the project with Argentina as our starting point, gathering all of the available documents from people with Syrian and Lebanese backgrounds, making our way to Brazil and all of America, and collecting all the existing documents still available. This is an ambitious project that will be headed by our university in Lebanon, where a remote and digital database will be built, where all the immigrants can access, research, and present their accounts of stories and their observations, which will help us piece together the history of the immigration. These documents will be, without a doubt, incredibly valuable due to the experiences of these people, from their first day leaving their home country to their arrival at their various destinations. These stories show the difficulties they faced, such as poverty and misery, but also how they overcame these situations and were able to grow and succeed thanks to their many qualities and their involvement in commercial and cultural areas, where many were able to build empires in their fields. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of visiting the Syrian-Lebanese hospital, where I gained new insight and was amazed at the service this hospital delivers with such modern facilities and equipment. Ironically, someone commented during the visit that any patient that is admitted to the hospital will never die. The idea being that, in essence, the care that these patients receive is of an exceptional quality. All of this is possible because of the presence of the Syrian-Lebanese community, many of whom are Christian, and who one day had to leave their home countries to escape persecution, looking for refuge in this country, so that they could live here in dignity and peace.
Pour vivre la dignité de l'homme.